What's your favourite character
In my book? Well, I would have to say probably Hannah, because she's the main character, and I wrote the book all from her point of view, so I had to really imagine being Hannah while I was writing it. You know, what would she feel at different times and how would she react, and so I really got into the character of Hannah, and part of her was based on me as a child because I loved drama and I used to write plays, and we did have a theatre on our farm. Not a secret theatre, but it was a theatre, and we wrote the plays and acted them. So that part of Hannah was a bit like me as a child, although Hannah is a much braver and cleverer character than I was.
How did you work out or imagine the personalities of the characters?
That's a good question. Well, as I say, Hannah was kind of based on... Her best friend Lottie was kind of based on a kind of mixture of my best friends, one of whom made costumes a lot, and Lottie in the book makes all the costumes for the plays. And she's a bit of an ideal best friend, Lottie, really. She's very loyal, she's very fierce in sticking up for Hannah when people are horrible to Hannah. So I suppose part of it was a kind of imagined ideal best friend. And the younger brothers and sisters are really based on my younger brothers and sisters. So there's the girl who loves animals and always has an animal with her. And there's the girl who can't bear living on the farm because it's too messy and muddy, and she just wants to get out and live in a nice clean place with pavements instead of muddy farmyards. And then there's the boy who wants to take over the farm and is very serious about farming, and that was what my brother was like.
So you grew up on the farm yourself?
I did, and I used that farm for the Secret Hen House Theatre. I thought, since I grew up on this farm, and I still am really lucky because I get to go back to the farm because my mum and dad still live there, I thought, well, I can write lots of notes about it, you know, exactly how it looks and how it smells, and the sounds that you hear as you go round, and all the textures of all the old farm machinery and the mud as you squelch through it. So I wrote lots and lots of notes when I went down and visited, and I used those for the descriptions in the book. So it's really based on that farm.
So the setting is basically
Theatre and farm and school, that's most of it, yeah. And there are some chapters where they go to other places, like they go to an antique shop at one point, and I grew up near a town with lots of antique shops in it, so I could imagine that antique shop and all the sort of old clocks and all the old silver cutlery on the old wooden tables and things. That was quite fun. And there's a chapter where they go for the results of the drama competition, and they're in a big conference centre in a city. So that was a bit different, but mostly it's set in the theatre and the farm and the school.
How did you get into the drama competition?
No, they do it secretly. So it's a competition where it's for all youth drama groups and youth theatres, and the judges, it's part of a big festival in a local town, and the judges go around to each person's theatre, each group's theatre, and they watch their plays. And then all the theatre groups go to this big ceremony where the winners get announced. So they have to have a theatre to enter this competition, so they find this old abandoned hen house where her mum used to keep her hens, but now it's all been overgrown with ivy and brambles, and everyone's forgotten about it. And they clear out all the junk and they turn it into their own theatre, and they just have to send off an email basically saying this is the name of our theatre and we want to enter this competition, and they get a letter back saying, okay, we're going to come visit and see your play on this day, and the judge comes out. But then they get really, really scared because what if her dad finds out, sees the judge arriving and makes them cancel everything, so it's all quite dramatic.
How many books have you produced?
Well, there are 8 Rescue Princesses books that are published now, and then there's an extra one which is what's called a bind-up, which is 3 books in one for like a big summer read. And then I have another book which is for older readers called The Crystal Mirror, part of the Fairy Tribe series. So altogether that's 10, I think.
How old were you when you started to writing the books?
When I started writing these books, oh gosh, like to say 21. When I started writing Rescue Princesses, it was probably about 34 maybe. I had the idea and kind of like played around with it a little bit and wrote lots of notes about how it would go, and then I wrote one whole book before I sent it off to the publisher to see if they would like it.
What's the idea of the story?
Well, the idea is that the princesses always help animals that are in trouble. And they actually kind of form a sort of secret club, which their mums and dads, the kings and queens, don't know about. And so they have to keep what they're doing a secret. Quite often the kings and queens get in the way a little bit, but they have great adventures. Really, it's really an adventure book at its heart. Do you have a favourite princess?
I quite in the series of the second part.
Yeah.
The first rescue princesses, sisters.
Okay. Princess Lottie, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the red curls.
Her friend with the short hair.
Rosalind.
Yeah.
Okay, Princess Rosalind. Yeah, she's quite a strong-minded girl. Yeah. Perhaps that's why you like her. Perhaps she says all the sort of tiki things that you would like to say yourself.